546. We are calling for justice for all victims of police violence. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, mic check.
So thank you, Brother Ben. Guys, sorry we're late. We were having technical difficulties because I'm bringing my brother Dre on. So we'll be back shortly after our presentation that we always play. Unfortunately, the video of, the first killer that pretty much murdered my brother, and before this, assaulted and victimized many victims. So I'm just going to go into the video. Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
Can't stop.
Won't stop.
Won't stop.
Till killer cops.
Or in cell blocks.
Can't stop.
Can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly, picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the job?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it up.
Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Do me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record for what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 or 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. So guys,
Mike?
thank you for mic check. Thank you guys for tuning in to West Wednesday. Tonight I have my brother Dre on, and before I bring him on, I just wanted to talk about something that was important to me. My sister Dre had shared an article with me from The Guardian, and it was talking about pretty much how last year, 2023, was the most deadliest police killings, like nationally. Like they had over, I think it was 1,232 killings, and that was just the ones that were gunned down. We know that everybody that, get murdered by the police, they don't die necessarily from being gunned down. Sometimes they're beat to death, unfortunately, like my brother, and Freddie Gray, and the list goes on. But it's just sad, and that's the ones we know about. But in 10 years, they said that was the highest in 10 years. And then the fact that Baltimore wanted to say that they were going down and the homicides between 20 and 25%, that's disgusting to me. So, but the reason why I brought that up, because my brother Dre does a lot. Unfortunately, I met him when my brother was murdered. He does a lot in his city and pretty much around the world. He's very active. So I'm just going to let this brother introduce himself. We're just going to bring him on. It took us long because we were actually trying to get him on live, but we were having technical difficulties, so we weren't able to bring him on live. But we do have a picture of him we're going to display, and you will hear him live. We're going to just bring him on the audio part. So, mic check.
Mic check.
My check.
My check.
Yes, brother. So can you tell everybody where you from and everything that you're doing and your upcoming events and everything? It's all yours. Mic check.
Mic check.
My name
Mic check.
My real name is Roger Rose, and I'm from Lynchburg, Virginia. And I do a lot of stuff around the nation with the Reverend House Shopping. I worked for Obama for 8 years. And I'm also down with all the victims who've been killed with dealing with the cops, like Floyd, George, and all of them, and Breonna Taylor, and Dante Wright, and the list goes on and on. And like I said, you just gotta keep on fighting for what you believe in, because once you stop, they will never keep this thing going on and on. You got to keep on fighting and keep on fighting the Justice Department, and things will get over. On March the 10th, out of my own hometown of Lynchburg, Virginia, I'm doing a Harriet Tubman special event. I'm a board member of her foundation. Me and her niece and her nephews and all the stuff. We always do a lot of stuff. So this year, for the first time, I think it's like one of the biggest events in my city. I have a Harriet Tubman event in my city.
And what's going to be happening at your event, my brother?
You said what now?
I said, what's going to exactly be happening at this event?
No, we're gonna have a couple of gospel singers and a couple of speakers come by the NAACP, and we got a board down here called Martin Luther King's committee, and they're gonna be there. And I'm hoping some of Harriet Tubman's family members, they come in for the event.
Awesome.
And I hope that some of y'all can come there if y'all free on that day.
Yes, I'm hoping that I'm free too. I'm definitely, if I'm free, I'll be there. It's just like now it's like competition season for my daughter. She does professional cheer, and she's like competing around like different parts of the world and stuff like that. And she got my schedule booked all the way up into June. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But yeah, so I'll check, and if I'm not doing nothing, we'll definitely come down and show support.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. So is there any information that you can give us to where as though we can follow you on different social media outlets, or anything that you want to share?
Yeah, you can follow me on Facebook, Dre. I got Dre VA Fam, and so one, like I say, you can take on my Facebook page if you wanna. And I'm on Instagram sometimes. I don't really be on Instagram. I'm mostly on Facebook most all the time.
Okay.
And also I did the Bloods and the Crips in California. The ones who started the Bloods and Crips, Melvin Farmer, he started the Crips in California. And I told Lamar he started the Bloods in California. He's the oldest Blood member living as we talking right now. And they've been out of doing great things in the community. They do this organization with the Justice Department, get these kids off the street, and they get them to nice jobs and stuff. And I think now we're working on they trying to, when they finish their job training and all this stuff, they're gonna try to name the street after them and somewhere California.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah. But I just want definitely give you a shout out and just thanking you for like everything that you're doing, and just all the help in the community and all like wonderful, great stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, appreciate it. And I'll get you another time, y'all. And y'all keep it safe out there.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in and joining us.
Dre, can you tell us the date for the special event for Harriet Tubman?
It's on March the 10th in Lynchburg, Virginia. And I'm gonna send all the information over to Wanda so she can give it to y'all.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, so send me the information. I'll definitely share it on my Facebook, social media platforms, and all of that.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Mike.
Mic check.
All right. So Ben, you can take our brother picture down. Thank you. So I'm just waiting for our brother Ben to actually take my brother Dre's picture down. And as you can hear too, guys, I have my sister Nicole in the background who's been on here many of times and things of that nature. And I wanted to highlight some things that she is doing, in the city. And then always I'd be remiss if she didn't share, because there may be some people that are listening and tuning in that never got a chance to actually, meet our queen. Just telling us, the fact, okay, there we go. So the fact that she lost her child as well as her father-in-law. So I'm just going to bring my sister on. Nicole,
Mic check.
Mic check.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Nicole Pettiford, and I am the daughter-in-law of Anthony Anderson and the mother of Ajay Harrod. In 2012, this was a year before Tyrone was killed, unfortunately. And my father-in-law, Anthony Anderson, was killed by the Baltimore City Police. He was beat to death in front of his mother and his granddaughter. And he was coming from the packaged goods store to get a beverage and stuff for his girlfriend at the time. They snuck up behind him and hoisted him above their head, dropping him on his head and neck area. And then after that, they continued to beat and kick him. When his mother came outside, when someone told them what was going on, and she came outside, she asked, "What are you doing to my son?" And their words, and for a lack of better terms, they said, "Back up, bitch, before you're next," which is the most horrible thing that you can ever say to someone. You guys are supposed to protect and serve us, but you protect and serve yourselves. And unfortunately,
You know, my grandmother-in-law passed away a few years after her son. So she didn't live long enough to see us get justice for what happened to her son. And unfortunately, 2 weeks later, my daughter Ajay Harad was also murdered. But hers was street violence. But it was also due to the police taking my daughter to the police station and questioning her about a murder. We don't know if she knew what was going on. We don't know the severity of the situation, but she was rendered as a snitch. And 2 weeks after my father-in-law was killed, my daughter was murdered as well. So I've been on both sides of the fence as far as street violence and police brutality. Now, since then, I have become a comedian and I've been an activist against police brutality. So instead of my husband and I turning our pain into anger and destroying this city, we decided to pay it forward. So we also got a semi-pro football team together, which we helped get some of these guys off the streets because if they have something positive to do, they can think about something positive that they want to do. Everybody don't want to go to the NFL. Everybody don't want to go to the NBA, but we try to show them that there's a better way out here than stealing and killing and being a gangster and stuff like that. So what we're doing now, I'm putting together my first comedy event here in Baltimore City to help raise funds for my football team. Now, our program starts from 18 and older. And the reason why we're doing this, because of the simple fact there are so many programs out here for children, but there's none out here for men. Men get frustrated. They go through mental illness. You know, they need love and support as well. And I just want to show my kings that I'm here for them. And whatever I can do to help make things a little bit easier for them, I'm willing to do so. So, with that being said, my show will be this March coming up. And I will definitely let Tawanda know the exact date and where the location is. So come on down and get your petty on, you know, laugh for charity. We want to be able to help as many people as we can, you know, with this epidemic that's going on. This is so sad, sick, and disgusting that we have to put together events like this because we are so afraid for our men to even walk to the corner store because we never know what kind of time the police are on. And you know, it's sad to say that I'd rather take my chances with the criminals than with the police because at least I know what the criminals want. I know what your intentions are. But with the police, you never know. I'm calling you for help and you come there and you kill me. And I'm the one that's calling you for help. It's sick and disgusting. And I commend my sister Tawanda for all that she does for this fight that she's fighting and the way that she's fighting. She's so strong and she's so determined. And as long as I have breath in my body, I am going to be by her side as much as I can. I'm always going to stand up for what is right, which is to take down these corrupt police officers because this doesn't make any sense. And the thing about it, I want to clarify this one thing. I don't hate all police. I don't, because I don't think that all police are bad. I hate the actions of the ones who have taken our loved ones away from us, who have put us into this family that we didn't ask to be in. I'm glad that I met Tawanda. I just wish that it was under different circumstances. And I'm always going to look up to her. I'm always going to love her. I'm always going to be here for her. And whenever she needs me and I'm available, I will be there. And Tawanda, I want to thank you for always having my back, inviting me on to this platform to speak about my loved ones, allowing me to have a way to not let my family members die. You know, you took them away from me once. I'm not going to sit back and allow you to take them away from me again. And I feel as though this is what West Wednesday does. It has a way, and it's for us to keep our family members alive, even though they're not physically here with us anymore. And we are going to continue to fight. We are not all we have, and we are not all we need. We need everyone to come together with this fight, because even if it hasn't happened to you yet, it's not saying that it can't happen. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. But I want everyone to know that Tawanda is here for us all. And she's definitely going to continue this fight. And I'm going to continue this fight with her. And thank you again, Tawanda, my queen, for allowing me to be here. Mic check.
Mic check. No,
Mic check.
Mic check. So I just want to actually thank you because I'm just thinking about, like, I'm reflecting and just going back to when 2013 happened, that changed my life, my family life, my brother children's life, literally forever. Like, and I'm just remembering, I'll never forget, I can't remember exactly where I was, but then I remember after West Wednesday, because we were somewhere, but after West Wednesday, I remember Payune from Baltimore Block had took me to your husband's mother house. This is when she was living, and that's where I met you guys at. I'll never forget. And Beth was there. That's where I first met Beth at. You know, you guys were all sitting in the living room. And then shortly after that, a week later or two, we did like a mural type of thing where we all like painted a wall and it had all one name and a Baltimore Block, put it up, you know, showing us. But it's just sad, like you say, to actually meet people through pain. Like, you know, like I just look at like how I was operating before all this stuff happening, and I felt like I was operating in a life of like lies, because I always thought, like, even though I know stuff happened, but the accountability piece, I always thought that it went hand in hand. Like, especially like when you got truth and you got the facts to come out, I always thought, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I was big on believing in the justice system. I was always used to get irritated, and I never knew why. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why are people, you know, especially when you're not educated with something you don't know, but and you're not living that life. But I used to always say, you know, you always, like, the media display one thing and say someone loved one was murdered, and then the next thing you know, they don't say nothing about no criminal charges. The next thing they say is the family is pursuing, you know, legal litigation, you know, through compensation, you know, trying to sue them. And I'm just like, in my mind, like, why is it that, like, nobody's getting locked up and people are just taking money? Like, and it used to bother me. I'm not even like, it didn't set well with my soul. It used to really bother me, but I never was judgmental of anyone. I'm just in my mind like, why? But then it's unfortunately that as you go through things and you endure things, you see why. You see why you got a system or a prosecutor that doesn't want to prosecute these killer cops, you know, or these fatalities of our loved ones. The first thing they always try to do is push a check in your hand and send your family away. And that's disgusting to me. That is horrible, heartbreaking. For one, let's be clear. If you kill our loved ones, you're not doing us a favor by giving a monetary settlement. That's something you owe us. If you take an active citizen that has been working hard and they were killed, murdered, their life just snatched for no reason, right? And you can't replace a life with money, but you're supposed to take care of that family immediately because that's on you. But at the same time, that is no accountability. That's a part of the process. Real accountability to me is prosecuting these killer cops to the fullest extent of the law. And it's just disgusting. And for me, literally, to learn that this week in the county, the police killed someone else. I didn't even look into the articles. It makes me sick. It's very sickening. It's very disheartening. And then the thing is, they have so many laws in place to say, hey, you're not supposed to chase any citizen, because they done seen with these chases, people, innocent people get killed while you're targeting in certain neighborhoods. Because at the end of the day, if they have somebody in Roland Park, an active person, they're not going to do a high-speed chase. And I'll give you a prime example. When they had that white killer where they shut the whole entire damn county down. He shot and killed a deputy, you know, he did all of
Right.
this. They didn't even kill him, but they did like a 48-hour pursuit on this murderer. But now time, did you see them chasing somebody all up and down? No, they didn't do that. They protected their. So they even went so far as to, oh, let's shut down all of the county schools, and not even just the county schools. Let's shut down the recreation. They made sure their people were safe and sheltered. But when it comes to us, it could be a stolen car, it could be anything that they want to just chase our. They could see some dudes just minding their business riding a dirt bike, and they'll start chasing them, knowing that you can kill people, you can kill them. They don't care. They get reckless when they come in our community, and it's disgusting to me. And then for this stuff to be, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because they always bring up, oh, we need to reform them, we need to do this, we need to do. No. We need to knock this damn system down and build it back up is what we need to do. Because I've been playing the Doug and Pony show with the Believing in Reform. Like I remember sis being at City Hall, actually begging for body video footage camera. I'm like, oh my God, if they would have had body video camera footage when they murdered my brother, maybe we would have got accountability. You know, even though the residents on Kentmore and Causeway pulled out their cell phones, video, everything, and the police came around and collected all the videos, so we probably will never see those videos again. But I urge anybody on Kent, I'm hopeful, anybody on Kentmore and Causeway, if you have that video, if you know of someone that has that horrible, heinous attack on my brother Tyrone West, please send it. You can reach out to me through this network, Facebook. You can reach out to me, Justice for Tyrone West. You can hit my email up, MissTawanda number 17 at yahoo.com. Please hit us up. Like, please hit us up with that video. Because it said, I'm not going to rest until I get complete accountability for my big brother Tyrone West and all the victims of police brutality and murder. But it said that we're in 2024 and we're still having a conversation about accountability while people are sleeping at night, while people are, you know, every year we go to Annapolis and we try to fight for what's right. And I'm not telling nobody to fight because I plan on at some point going down to Annapolis and testifying. But it's saying, speaking of Annapolis, when I go down to Annapolis, the part that irritates me because one of the killers, David Killer Lewis from Morgan State University, he was the 340-something pound giant that actually sat on my brother's back, put his knee into my brother's neck until my brother was no longer moving, breathing. He was murdered. He finished my brother off. He finished him off. And I finished his career at Morgan State University. We kept protesting week after week, meeting victims, saying, oh, did y'all know that David Lewis is a killer? Y'all got him working on campus. That's why we were totally against. That's why I supported John Hopkins with the private policing. We don't need it. As much as security that they got, they don't need no private policing. Like, that's a bunch of foolishness, you know. But anyway, I said all that to say, but now this animal works at the Capitol. They got a killer checking people in. You have to go through a killer, put your stuff up on the table and make sure you ain't got no guns, weapons, and all this. And this animal killed my brother. So I'm praying that I don't see him when I go down there because I'm going to act a donkey. I'm going to forget who I am. I'm not going to be violent. So that's not a threat. Let's be crystal clear. I don't function like that. When I say I'm going to act out of character, I'm going to call him out like I always call him out. When this coward put his hand on his alleged girlfriend he was dating, he had a court date out in the county 2 years ago. Guess who came to court? Behind his back, acting like a donkey. Me. I was quiet in the courtroom because I'm not going to get put out the courtroom. I listened to the trial, and as soon as we stepped out of there, I'm like, hey, David Killer Lewis, and we went on the outside nature, and they was to the point, they protect these killers. They snuck him out of a side door, and then they sent the Muppet Mans. Me and my sister Dina, we cracked up laughing all the way back to Baltimore. We cracked up laughing. They sent the Muppet police officers out there, these elderly men out there. We like, are you kidding me? But this is the foolishness. And I said all that to say, but we will be in Annapolis. But if I see him out there, and every time I go out there, I always call him out. And I remember one time Shorty, shout out to Shorty. Shorty went out there, called him out. They tried to put Shorty out They tried to put him out one of the sessions. He called him out and videoed. He pulled that phone out like this, videoed them, was like, "Hey, you one of the murderers? You murdered Tyrone West," and they ran Shorty about it. I love Shorty. Like he potty, what do you call it? Potty training, politicians. He does it all. So like, but I plan on being out there. But the whole point, why do we have to do all of this? Why?
Right.
That's my
Mhm.
point. Why? Because if we do the things that were done to our loved ones, you'll never see us again.
Us
You'll
again.
never see us again.
Mm-mm.
You'll never see us again. And then the fact that they were able to actually, if having your father-in-law, Anthony Anderson, being murdered, and then turn around 2 weeks later to have your baby murdered, that is disgusting. And then I even read articles before, like, I got like in close contact with you guys, but I had read articles when everything was going down. I read articles
Mhm.
about how, and I don't know if it's true, and I've been meant to ask your husband, but I read an article stating, it was in the Sun. It said that on the way to Anthony Anderson's funeral, they had the nerve to try to come and harass your husband. The police had the nerve to come out there the day of the funeral. That's what the Sun said there, and said that they try to pull your husband over and be like, "Where you going?" He's like, "I'm going to my father's funeral." But I'm glad that they was thrown under the bus because of the Baltimore Sun. I was like, that is so disgusting. And some of the things in your father-in-law case, they did in my brother's case. Like they gave him, I think it was Novocaine. I always get it wrong, but they literally gave him some type of medication that they give people that OD off of drugs. When my brother wasn't on anything, like they
Mhm.
murdered him,
Mhm.
tortured him, tased him 3 times in his neck. They literally opened up 2 canisters of some type of chemical that I would believe to be pepper spray. But this is what they did to my brother. Beat him with open fists, beat him with batons, like tortured my brother. So, and people wonder why that I do this, like I'm dedicated. People wonder why going on now 11 years. When we hit the summer, we'll be at 11 years. I never wanted to be at 11 years. I remember when it first happened, sis, I kind of wanted to speed up the years because I knew that, and I knew it would take some time to get these killers, but I'm thinking in my mind, I had estimated at least 3 years at the tops. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm like, I believed in the justice system. I believe that that
Right.
camera video footage is going to show up. And then even if that don't show up, they got credible eyewitnesses that saw a one unarmed man being brutally murdered. We're going to get our fair day in court. It's going to be an open and shut case, and we're going to get him. That wasn't true. Like, so I found out there is no justice. It's just us trying to hold these jokers accountable. And that's what we're going to do. Until we get accountability, not only for your beautiful daughter, we're going to get it for Anthony Anderson, my brother, and all the victims of police brutality. Like, it's just unreal. It's just unreal. Like, and hadn't been, and I never thought that I would have even been in a position, literally talking about what happened to Trayvon Martin and knowing that my brother's dying words was Trayvon Martin help. I never thought that I would be pushed into a position to be in a movement where I would actually get to meet Trayvon Martin's mother in real life times and tell her, "Oh, sorry about your son," and tell her the fact that my brother died saying her son's name. Like, I never thought I would meet her. I never thought I would meet Ahmaud Arbery's mom. Your son
Right.
jog down the street and get murdered. I never thought I'd be in a position to meet George Floyd family members. And the list goes on. Breonna Taylor's auntie and her cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought I would be able to even meet you. Like, I never, like, it's disgusting. And then meeting all the
Yes.
because they don't even talk about the females that are getting murdered by the police. Meeting my
Yes.
sister,
You're right.
who always fight for her daughter. And
Mhm.
she fights like hell. And her daughter was a vet serving for this damn country. And you murder her,
Mhm.
you murder the father of her child, and then her baby is right there in the car and is affected by that. Like, that's horrible. Then never thought I would have met Corinne Gaines' mother.
Yeah. I never thought in a million
like,
years that I would have met
uh,
Michael Brown's family
that's
and
what I'm
Emmett
saying. No,
Till's cousin.
that's what I'm
You
saying.
know,
No,
I never thought that I would have met these people and to sit and have conversations with them, and I could literally feel their pain and anguish. And it was just like you just want to take these people and just hold them so tight and just make it better. But you know you can't. It doesn't matter how much you say I'm sorry, no matter how much you hug them, no matter how much you talk to them. It's never going to be right. Our lives are forever changed and not for the better. Not for the better at all. It's days that I don't want to get up out of the bed because the pain is so real that I lost my family members to something so sick. I mean, I'm used to seeing this stuff on television, not living this real
It's a
life
night. It's a
nightmare.
nightmare. It's literally a nightmare. And then the fact that we're coming up now on 2 years of my cousin being murdered, Tavon Anderson, who I shared his picture on my Facebook, handsome like my brother Tyrone named him Billy D. Williams because my brother, always said that my cousin Tavon had all the looks, all the ladies loved Tavon Anderson, like everybody loved him, but he was out there fighting. And then the night that I'm on the news talking about Killer Ruiz, who was highlighted in this, and all the dirt came down where we thought it was like maybe 6 victims, to learn that 36 people took the time to go down there and say, you know what, this animal did this to me. I want something done. Do you know how much of courage that takes to go down there? To
Yeah.
have the police policing themselves with the internal investigation foolishness. That's them regurgitating themselves. That's them giving your information to them when you report something and then have them sitting
Mhm.
outside your house the next day harassing you, coming up to your job. But they said, you know what, the hell with that. I want to let it be known that Ruiz is violent, he's unhinged, and this is what happens. Like this is what happens. And they don't do nothing. And then the media lies, like everybody's lying. Like that's why I say knock this dirty system down, build it back up, because they're blowing smoke in our behinds. Because it literally,
Yeah.
when that video came out after George Floyd, we saw George Floyd life get snuffed out of him. You literally saw it, and you saw all those animals that was involved in his murder. Watch, sat there, take part on it, and just imagine if you would have saw a video with 17 killer cops beating, including funky women, funky men. And the reason why I say funky because something is truly wrong with you. If you'll set up there instead of you rendering aid, you have this funky attitude that I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to participate. That is the,
Mhm.
and I'm going, even though I highlight week after week reason, I sometimes talk about Chapman, I talk about David Keller Lewis. You only hear about them 3. But guess what? Don't sleep on me. I want every last one of y'all. I want you, Danielle. I want you, Latrice. I want all y'all stinking animals. So sleep on me if you want to. I want all y'all. And it's just sad that we have to go through this week after week, living in a nightmare we never asked for. Week after week. It's disgusting. Week after week. Week after week. But I'm glad that I
Yes.
met you and was able
Yeah,
to, you know,
definitely.
like help you engage with other families so that you can know that you wasn't alone. That's why I thought it was very important that when I got invited to Uncle Bobby's thing, the Uncle Oscar Grant, that's been fighting for
Yeah.
decades, for their loved one who was gunned down on New Year's Eve, shot in the back for no reason. And they was fighting for Oscar Grant. But that's why I felt, that I had to make that connection with y'all, had to put you on the same bus as me to go around the world and to see all this pain and realize that you are not alone in it. You're not alone. If you
Yes.
can't sleep at night, guess what? You got other mothers, other sisters, daughters, fathers, cousins. A lot of people cannot sleep at night. So I see that
Mhm.
our lines is blowing up, and I want to check in to see if anybody's available. I definitely miss Marcellus. I hope he's doing well. He's fighting for this dirty country. Like, oh my goodness, America. America. But anyway, shout out to
Mhm.
him for putting his life on the line, for fighting,
Yeah.
for a country that don't give a damn about us. But shout out Marcellus, but definitely miss him.
Yes.
And he always would read our questions and things of that nature. So I just want to check in to see if anybody's available to read our questions and comments. Mic check.
Mic check.
Sorry, I'm late. Mic check.
Uncle Bill, you think you can read them for us?
Sure. I'd be happy to read them.
Awesome.
We start off with Judah, who says mic check. AC Britt also mic check. Linda says March 10th in Lynchburg, and that's what our guest was speaking about tonight, the program for Harriet Tubman. In fact, he sent us a graphic of it, and perhaps we can have Ben put it up on the screen at one point, a graphic for that event. Then I'm sorry if I don't pronounce your name right. Oh, here we go. That's the graphic from our guest from early this evening. Noan Muhammad says, great call in with great. Corny Pyeth, I'm not sure how to say that. Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotions of your channel. Viewers follow.
You don't have to read that one. That's
the spam mail. That's the spam. That's the
all right. I was thinking. All right, thank you. Noan Muhammad says yes in response to something someone was speaking about on the program, and then he has thumbs up. AC Britt says yes. The same with me. I actually had blue ribbons in my mailbox for the 2 cops killed in New York City when they came barging in my house. I was blinded by how society elevates them on a pedestal. AC Britt then says a pedestal they don't belong on, and adds, you can't reform something that is operating exactly how it is set up to.
Yes.
And then I wrote a comment. It says, excellent point to Wanda about how your understanding of the injustice system has deepened. In general, I would say that virtually all knowledge comes from experience, like your many experiences while fighting for accountability. Even when we learn from books, we're really learning from other people's experiences. We just need more millions of people to learn what you've learned. Yes, we need to knock down the system and build up a much better sisterly, brotherly world. Then AC Britt points out, defund and put that money towards, towards social programs that actually help Baltimore citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And you were speaking about that chemical they give people, or that medicine they give people who may have overdosed. AC Britt points out that the name is Narcan.
Narcan, okay.
Yep. And then she says yesterday, 45 and his lawyers were arguing absolute immunity while being president. The judges will most likely decide against him. Why does the so-called justice system continue to allow qualified immunity? And she added, qualified immunity should be made illegal across the entire U.S. And then I happen to have, oh no, it's not the last comment. Next one was for me. Yes, all 17 cops who played a role in the horrific murder of Tyrone, they all need to be under the jail. AC Britt, a story came out yesterday where BPD Southwest District Major Jennifer McGrath was promoted from captain to major in November, despite having a credible complaint against her. She was apparently texting. And I'll just add to that she texted somebody and threatened and said, I've already called the people I know down at, what's the division of the police that looks into misbehavior?
Internal Affairs?
Yes. She says, I already called down to Internal Affairs and my people are going to remove your complaint. And she says, you better not come up against me because I can make you disappear. And she's a cop with the city. Wow. Yep. And in spite of that, they promoted her. And then Hillary writes, so often the police control the narrative in court and in the media. This has always been the case and created the idea that police serve and protect. With social media and cell phone videos, we are all finally able to see what has been going on. Thank you for continuing to keep this conversation alive and for informing so many about what has been going on. AC Britt says, threats to the victim. Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't know that this had been posted already, but AC Britt says, she said, quote, I'm a captain, no one is going to believe you, end quote. I am powerful, oh, another quote, I am powerful and established, unlike you. And a third quote, I can make you disappear if I wanted to. And AC Britt adds, this is what we've been telling anyone who will listen about the unhinged nature of these dirty cops and how they get promoted based on their brutality. And then we have from Drava Farm, thanks for the post of my event. And that concludes the posts that have been put up so far. Mike, check.
Mike,
Mike check.
yeah, thank you, Uncle Bill, for sharing that important information. And yeah, I'm just looking over some stuff real quick that I wanted to share. So I'm looking at my phone real quick. So sis, I had a question. I wanted to know
Yes.
if you heard about the case of Robin Simpson, a female from Philadelphia.
No, I haven't heard about that one. I just things been coming and I be trying to jot stuff down so I don't forget it. But I can honestly say I did not hear about that one.
Yeah, so pretty much, but it's just unspeakable. But this happened in December of last year, and she pretty much moved to Philly with her husband and her 8-year-old daughter. But come
Mhm.
to find out, her husband was going through some type of mental illness, where as though he started suffering from it when he lost his job in the summertime, and he
Mhm.
displaying signs of suicide tendencies. So pretty much
Mm.
the night in question, she called 911, and saying that I feel like my husband is about to kill himself type of thing. And they're like, we're gonna send somebody out there type of thing. And long story short, he wound up stabbing her 100 times in
Oh
front
my
of
God.
their 8-year-old.
They're
And the
8 year old.
crazy part, the police shows up, but they didn't go inside the house. One of the police showed up outside of her house and said he was waiting for somebody else to back him. It wasn't until, so pretty much they outside chilling on the front. It wasn't until that baby, as he was, and get this, not only did he stab her 100 times, he cut her heart out and he cut her brain out of her head, her skull. So this is like a literally nightmare, something you see in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? And he's
Right.
doing all this in front of the baby. So the baby, of course, runs outside, traumatized, messed up, and that's when they go in there. And then he don't get killed. Which I say, I'm not saying, oh, when somebody do something, y'all play judge, jury, and executioner, go in there and kill him, because then I'd be a hypocrite. But he don't even get a scratch on him. And he was a black man. But the kicker is he has ties to the city. So when you have ties, it ain't even what you know, who you know.
Mhm.
His father,
Mhm.
I think it's like a big time judge or lawyer, but he has ties into the legal realm. And
Mhm.
what? They gave him a bail. Like, are you kidding me? They gave him a bail, and now the family is putting up a petition, and they want his bail revoked. But like, really? Like, are you kidding me? Like, so that's why I said there is no justice. It's just us. Then there was another situation. I seem like a lot of things are happening to black women. That's why I'm trying to bring it up, because nobody talks
Right.
about these stories, and these should be highlighted every day. And I'm going to bring
Uh-huh.
the vicious killing of black women. We're the most unprotected, disrespected beings in America. Malcolm X got that right when he said that. But my whole point is, it was another sister. Can't think of her name. I was trying to find it because I got so, like, people send me stuff every day, but I cannot find it. So I wouldn't
Right.
keep on going through my phone. But she had wound up calling the police to have her boyfriend removed out of her house because he had started fighting on her. She called 911, all that stuff. They was like, okay, so they send the police in to knock at the door. But before they get there, he had like attacked her, started choking her out, and her baby girl, and this one, her daughter too, she had a young daughter as well, that's right there witnessing all this trauma. So the baby girl tried to, of course, get in to help her mother out, to stop him from choking her mother out. He hit the baby girl. So you already know, any sister, anybody, it ain't got to be a sister, any mother that
Right.
sees somebody that's attacking them and their baby child, it's just a motherly instinct. Like,
Right.
you're going to go off. So she ran to get a knife to protect her and her baby. And at this point, she ready to get him. Like, you ain't going to, not only are you get ready to hurt me, but you trying to hurt my baby. Oh, you took it to another level. So now I'm going to take it to another level. So they come in, enter the house. What happens? They shoot her up. They shot her
Shoot her.
4 to 5 times, killing her. And even her boyfriend, the one she called the police on, said, "Why did you do that?" Like, this is like unreal. And then I heard, I can go on all night, but I'm not. because I respect your time. I respect everybody's time. But my point is, it's a lot of stuff that they're tiptoeing around and being quiet. That's why they keep on putting up Fox, Fox keep on showing Trump and keep on showing all this other stuff, keep showing our teenagers.
The smoke
The teenagers, and
screens.
then they can't wait to say, instead of them having empathy, but they couldn't wait to blast out, oh, the first victim of the year was a teenager that was murdered. That's somebody's damn child. Like, that's
Right.
horrible. Like, how can y'all even get off with just reporting that? And the year before we had TT, like that's disgusting. That's why I dislike watching the news, but I try to watch it to watch the weather and then to see what the enemy is talking about. I try to prepare myself.
Right.
But it's just sad. But the stuff that they're not talking about, and I forgot, I think it was in Mississippi, and I might be wrong, but it was somewhere that it was like 200 to 250 people reported missing by their loved ones, right? Get this, sis.
Right.
Reported missing. So trust me, I know how to feel to live in a nightmare of having your loved one missing, not knowing. I went through that with my nephew, and
Yes.
again, I am going through that. Like, I'm gonna be real and transparent. I am actively going through that again, but I had to take myself in another state of mind because the first time almost killed me. The second time bothered me, but I can't allow it to kill me. I can just only pray and wait and hear on words and put out phone calls, that type of stuff, and pray that he's okay. Because now he's in Virginia. Now, glad that I touched base with my brother in Virginia, because maybe he can help find out some information about my nephew as well. But that's a whole nother story, a whole nother day. But my point is, 200 to 250 people reported their loved ones missing. Come to find out, their loved ones was dead, buried behind a jail. And then in this particular state, they actually got the family. If you wanted to know if that was your loved one, they made the families pay, get this, pay to get their loved one's body collected. Like, are you serious? They actually made them pay money to have to see, if that was their loved one. Like, disgusting.
Right.
Again, this is a capitalist system that plays on us and preys on us, and we need to knock it down, build it back.
Build it back up.
All these situations. So one more time, Bill, unfortunately, before we go to the sad lesson, we kind of wrap it up. Could you please check and see our questions and comments that are online? Mic check.
Mike,
check.
I'm just trying to find the spot where we left off.
Okay, no problem.
I think I may have read our earlier guest said thanks for the post of my event about Harriet Tubman. Angela, in response to something you were speaking about, said that's horrible. I said, hi, Angela, I hope you're doing well. And then I said, yes, it's important to know what distortions and lies the enemy is advocating. And Angela replying to Bill Bleich, hey, Bill, I'm all right, and you? So, Angela, I'm good. Thank you.
We miss you, sis. We love you.
Yes.
I'm up to bottom. I need some more of my plates, sis. I need them plates, man. Them paper plates is trash that they got here. Like, all this stuff they taking away, making you buy all this plastic stuff, but you taking away plastic. Like, make it make sense. They saying they want us to be using paper and all this stuff, but yet they'll sell us a plastic bag. You know what I mean? Like, make it make sense. But I'm sorry.
Right.
I just had
That's it. Those are all the things. Oh, wait. AC Britt says love to Angela, and that's the last post as of now.
Yes, and just real quick, big shout out to my sister Queen Angela, because unfortunately, just like us, she's in a blood family that she never asked to be in, but it's just so weird how God put us all together. Like, I think about each and every last one of you guys and how we met. And even though it was on like the bad side of town, but it wound up being good. Just meeting you, Nicole, meeting my sister Dina, who was like so shy, quiet, laid back. When I say she a ball of fire, that's why she got red hair. She's a ball of fire. But when I met her, she was so quiet and sweet. She ain't say nothing. She wrote me down a note, a little cute little note, and I still got my note. But it was so sweet, and it just sent chills down my spine, and just like it just seeing her be a ball of fire, seeing her at like, oh my God, it's like you know, she got the mother fire in her, and then on top of the mother fire, she got like, y'all not gonna play with my people. Like, she just a fighter, man. But then talking about my sister Angela, so when I met her, one of my friends on Facebook, I knew one of her family members, and they connected us, and she is so sweet, and I fell in love with my sister Angela. You know, 'cause she fight like she is unfiltered. You ain't gonna shut her up. She gonna tell her like it is.
Mm-mm.
After you bring the scat, after the police, like she gonna just bring it to the table, like, you know. She got
That's right.
right, but unfortunately, her brother was killed, and the saddest part is her nieces and nephews are stuck in a house where her brother was murdered. I can't even stand riding through Kentmore Causeway yearly, or whenever we do occasionally. Sometimes we do, because every time I ride through Lock Raven and I get near that intersection, like just coming down, just way at the bottom, nowhere, like ain't even go up the block, but every time I'm riding up down Lock Raven, I'll get a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach. Then I'll look up and I'm like, damn, I'm right here. And but sometimes not even knowing, I could be listening to my music, jamming in my own world. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, why I feel? I'm like, oh, damn, I'm on Lock Raven. Like in reality, it hit us so. But to have
Mhm.
those babies be trapped into a house where their loved one was murdered is disgusting. And it's just sad. Like they play so games. So I'm sending love out to her. But just the way I met each and every last one. I remember even how I met Uncle Bill. He came to a West Wednesday, and we realizing that Uncle Bill had toured some of the family members. At the time I thought it was just two of my cousins, but kind of found it was three. And then it was so funny because even with us not knowing, or back then, it's like you don't know, you know somebody, like you might see them in the shadow and don't know who they are. And I remember when, I'll never forget, this is when Tyrone was living. It was a rap group that my cousin Neil was in, and they went to the Apollo. They were so good. And they actually won on the Apollo. And I remember my brother Tyrone, we were so excited. We went up there, and he was, at the time, I think it was the host lady was Kiki Shepherd. If I'm saying that wrong, forgive me. Don't judge my heart.
Mhm.
But she was there. My brother was in love with Kiki. I just remember my name was Kiki. He was like, she is so fine and all this stuff. And for him to see her in person, we got to laugh. And, you know, my cousin Tay, my whole entire family was there. Like, it was so amazing. Like, my aunties, like, everybody. Like, I just wish I could just bring those good days back. And we had a ball there.
Right.
Then, you know, with that group that was at Powley High School. And then to learn that Uncle Bill was a big, major part of it. You know, it's just like the way you meet people. Then I remember one time when Hillary and Dan, I met them through JC Circle of Voice, but the list goes on. I remember day one when I met Shorty, he showed up at a protest, and he's always had my back from day one. When I met Brother Boom, they showed up. I thought they was lawyers. I said, who's these black brother lawyers with these suits on? And I was like, okay. And then come to find out, you know, they introduced themselves, and they just been there. So just like meeting everybody, like Bill, like everybody, like just meeting everybody the way I met them. And everybody came going to their radio show or whatever, and they did something. But it's just like our connection is beautiful, and I would never change that part. I would change if I could the hurt and pain that we went through,
Right.
going through.
Mhm.
But I'm so glad that I was blessed to meet each and every last one of you guys, and even Brother Brian, because I remember Brother Brian and Shorty used to do then in the movie. They had their dad on that movie playing, and they cook out Shorty be on the grill, and they feed him and play that movie. And yeah, and it just everybody's just doing amazing work, and I'm just so glad that I know beautiful people. So right now, before we go into our sad list, I want to check in with anybody on the panel to see if y'all want to say some final words, final thoughts before I pull up our disclosure and go on and move forward. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah, I'd like to just take a minute and say something. I mentioned last week that the New York Times did a study, or they reported on a study that someone else did, I think. And they were looking at the police killings from 2005 up until the killing of George Floyd. So that was whatever number of years that is, 15 years, something like that. During those years, only 7 cops, out of all the thousands of people that police killed during that time, only 7 cops were found guilty of murder. And so they calculated, and they figured out the number of murders per year, and then it was the 7 and so on. They figured out that out of every 2,000 police killings, one cop will get successfully prosecuted for murder. 1 out of 2,000. And so it raises the question, why is it like this? And you know, the origin of policing had 2 sort of strands. One strand was in the North. They started police to keep workers in check if they were to go on strike for better conditions. And the other strand, the one we know well, is it was started in the South. So the police would act as slave catchers. And even more importantly, if they caught a slave who was rebelling or running away, brutalize them publicly to set an example. And if we look at slavery, what was it really? It was a system of unpaid labor. And that made it very profitable for those who were growing cotton and tobacco, the big slave owners. So today we have the police killings. And the police killings are actually more frequent, much more frequent, about 4 times more frequent than the lynchings were during the Jim Crow period. Well, why? We understand clearly why they had slave catchers and the early police played that role. So why is it today that there's so much police killing going on, about 1,100 of these killings a year? And I would say that there's a similarity and a difference from slavery. The key similarity is that slavery was a system of unpaid labor, and today it's a system of low-paid labor. On the not in every case, but on the average, people of color, or a better expression is the what's the word? The global majority, which is people of color. Better to say the global majority. On the average in the United States, makes significantly less money, and so they got to enforce that system. And the police killings are to, just like under slavery, to intimidate and put fear in people about fighting back. And I think it's important to have that perspective, to understand why we're up against this system, why the system does this, and to sort of give us a sense of what it's going to take to change this. As you say, Tawanda, knock it down and build it back up.
That's it.
So that's all I wanted to add, was that little bit.
Thank you. I appreciate you. That was very important to add. Before I actually read the our mission statement, I wanted to pretty much give a shout out and just send all my love to my sister Jackie Johnson. Her son was murdered. Her son was murdered literally 11 years ago. Her son, Kendrick Johnson. And I don't know if you guys remember the teenager that was found, like, you know, balled up in the gym and all that stuff. They kind of found out all his organs were took out. They never got any answers or anything. This is what they do to our babies. This is what they do. And like nobody wants to talk about. And it's just sad and disgusting that we have to live this nightmare. You know, you send your baby to school, you expect as a mom or parent to actually come get your child from school, and you go home, you eat dinner, you prepare for the next day. And for something that devastating to happen is very disgusting. And I always think about Tamir Rice, a young baby that was in school playing on the playground, being a kid, and a racist killer cop come in 2 seconds, not 2 minutes, 2 seconds, 1, 2. Might even make it to the 2, probably 1.5 seconds. But my whole point, you gunned down a baby in a playground, and these killers keep walking away. At what point, when we say enough's enough and do what we got to do, like something got to change. Like it's 2024 now. It's time for us to go inside of our brains and really think and say, look, what is our next step? Because apparently something we doing not working. It's just not. But anyway, enough of that. I'm sorry for babbling on, but I wanted to give my brother Dre a big shout out for joining us tonight. I want to give my sister Queen Nicole a big shout out for joining us. I want to give each and every last one of you guys that tuned in online, sending comments, sending your love. I want to give each and every last one of you guys a big shout out, sending my love. So yeah, I'm ready to go into our mission statement. Give me a few seconds to flip the screen. Okay. It is the mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and all the victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can use de-escalation strategies to diffuse situations without necessarily using force. We encourage community members to resolve disputes without using violence. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. I'm going to say that again. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. We seek to lift up the names of their loved ones from a place of respect and care. We obtained these lists and names of those shot and killed by the police and those lost to community violence from national and local news outlets. We know that these are by no means exhaustive lists and that gun violence isn't the only way that people are murdered. We do not obtain detailed information about the circumstances surrounding each of these deaths or the people who died. By reading these names, we are not condoning violent behaviors on the part of anyone. And I'll say that part again. By reading the names, we are not condoning violent behaviors on the part of anyone involved in the situation. So I'm going to turn it over. I don't know who has the sad list for tonight, for the community violence and the police brutality list, but I'll turn it over. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. I don't believe we have a police violence list this week, but we do have a community violence list. And so, you know, as always, these are, we raise these people up both to try and help their loved ones and their and the people who knew them, and also as a way of dedicating ourselves to this struggle and keeping ourselves mindful of what we're doing. So since last West Wednesday, we've had 3 deaths here in Baltimore. And so if you just echo their names back to me. Keith Nicholson, 36.
Keith
Nicholson, 36.
Noah Gibson, 16.
Noah
Gibson, 16.
Antoine Johnson, 31.
Antoine
Johnson, 31.
31.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Tawanda, Brian is correct. The Washington Post website called Fatal Force, they have not updated it since our last West Wednesday. As we know, the owner of the Washington Post is Jeff Bezos, a billionaire. So I don't think it's a high priority for him. They could put some more people working on that data and keep it more up to date. But anyway, we don't have anything new to add, although I'm sure the police have done as they usually do and killed additional people.
Absolutely, and I thank you for sharing that, because I was going to say my part in it. This is not the West Coalition. This is strictly Tawanda Jones. My guess on it, because I'm looking at the pattern. It's always a pattern with things. If you watch things, it's like almost if your spouse was cheating on you until you find out none of it makes sense. But then once you find out something that you might have been like suspecting, you're like, oh, this makes sense why that joker wasn't in this house at whatever day on this day. Like, you start getting into it. And as I'm getting engaged with us reading the list, now last week's list, it took us almost 20 minutes because we had so many, wasn't it 73 names, I believe?
Yeah, something like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, so with that being said, they were in shame. And then the crazy part, that's not even all the names. That is just who the police gunned down. That's not the Johnny or Tyrone or anybody that was beat to death or Anthony Anderson. That's not them. That's not them. That was just the people that they gunned down. So right now, it's just like, oh my gosh, we put that out. So now we just got to take a break. We don't want the police to be looked at the way they should be.
You look
The way the killer
exactly.
cops should be looked at. Like
Mhm.
we don't want to shame them too much. So let's just keep that low cut, low key. Disgusting. That's my opinion. That's not the West Coalition. That's strictly Tawanda Jones. But again, even though given the circumstances, it's sad, but it has been a pleasure just to be a part of you guys tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you be out on them streets again. I'm just like not going to play with it because right now COVID is real and it's spreading tremendously. It's all at my school, it's
Mhm.
everywhere. And that was the reason why last week I decided not to go on because we be out there. We don't care about the weather. We don't care we done been outside when it was raining sideways. Like literally, so we done been out there sliding on ice. Like I wouldn't even go to work
Mhm.
that day. I called out, but yet I'm sliding on
Mhm.
ice to that microphone and telling them how they are murdering our loved ones, right? So it's not about anything else, but it's about being safe. And yesterday it was horrible, and I'm glad a lot of people made it home safely. That rain and
Yes.
just thinking of the cleanup mess, and then a lot of people lost power. Thinking of the storm, I kept you guys in mind. I'm like, it's not that serious for us to be outside and something happens, that we could have particularly prevented, So that's why we were online. And then also I wanted to bring my brother on here or whatever, because I talked to him early today and he was telling me about the Harriet Tubman event. I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta bring him definitely on. And I remember I was so honored to actually bring Harriet Tubman's great granddaughter's niece on our outlet, like brought her here in real life and the resemblance of this beautiful queen. And I plan on even bringing her back on our show to talk to us, but to have her actually come to Baltimore and say that she was going to try to, she was working on having a Harriet Tubman Day. Like, as we have Dr. King's birthday that's coming up on Monday, that's also my mom's birthday. My mom's birthday, a queen was born on Dr. King's birthday as well. My mom's birthday is Monday. I'm glad I'm going to be off because whenever I get in that stage, I always miss my mother. Like I don't even want to talk about it, but I'm getting choked up. But wish me well this weekend because my baby girl has cheer competition. Will be out of town, and I will be sharing the videos of my baby doing her thing. Yeah, but it's real out here. But I just want to tell you guys, live to love to live. I love
Hey,
you all.
Tawanda,
Yes.
before we do go, we do have the name of one person who was killed by the police. That happened in Baltimore County, and his name is Shaquem, and that just happened. He's not on any list so far.
Oh wow, his name is Shaki.
Yes.
Okay, so let's send out love. If you're into prayer, please say a prayer for Shaki's family. If not, that's fine.
Yeah.
And positive waves all throughout universe, world, all that good stuff, because that family's going to need it. Just like I told y'all, they like somebody was just killed. Like it's just disgusting. But I'm glad our brother Ben was able to bring the family member name up, and if it's just sad, like just it's just disgusting. Like oh my goodness. So, but at the end of the day, we can't let like all the bad stuff out, weigh the good stuff. Just remember, live to love to live. I love you all. And I had a time laughing with my cousin Keita. Like, she asked me to send her a picture of my great grandmother's mother. Because my grandmother and her grandmother are sisters. And I told y'all, like, we made a joke. My cousin Neil made a joke because like back then they had the midwife type of thing that was going. My grandma was born, and they literally got my both of their ages like they were 6 months apart. There's no way in hell that like they're just 6 months apart. There's no way. So they messed it up somewhere because we predicted that my grandmother was way older than what she was at her death day. But back then they didn't care about like when our loved ones were born to get actual documentation. And we just thought it was funny tonight because we were sending. She told me to reach out to like one of my aunties to send her like pictures of our great grandmother, but she couldn't find one. But then she started finding stuff of us, and we were sending them pictures. I was crying, laughing at my cousin Keith. I'm like, why was my forehead like that big? Like, so we just had a time. So that's what you got to just remember: have fun, with your family. Live to love to live. I love you all, and unfortunately, as we end on a positive note, we have to bring the video that we started, and we do, and we will. And that's one of my goals, is to update the end of it. So Uncle Bill, I will be getting with you soon in your free time, so we can just take the part on leaving it up to Marilyn Mosley and put it in the hands of our prosecutor that says, hey, if you commit a crime, while you out there committing a crime, bring your toothbrush. Well, tell these killer cops bring their goddamn toothbrush too. They need to go to jail as well. So live to love to live. I love you all, and we will see you guys next West Wednesday. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why you want to talk to me? Why would you say that?
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges, like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Dina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.